Have you ever achieved everything you thought you wanted, only to find yourself haunted by a sense of emptiness, or looked at your life, your job, your relationships, your possessions, and wondered, why am I still not happy? Welcome back to our channel. Today's video addresses one of the deepest paradoxes of the modern human experience, the pain of emptiness in the midst of abundance. We will explore why even those who seemingly have it all, wealth, success, beauty, fame, often feel lost, restless, or depressed. And more importantly, we will explore what the Buddha taught about the real source of this suffering and how we can begin to heal from it. Let's begin with a common scene. A young executive has climbed the corporate ladder, owns luxury cars, takes international vacations, and lives in a penthouse apartment. But when he sits alone at night, he feels hollow. He scrolls endlessly through social media, trying to distract himself from a dull ache in his heart. Why? Because external achievements do not guarantee internal peace. This might seem obvious, yet most of society is built on the promise that happiness lies just beyond the next achievement, the next promotion, the next relationship, the next gadget. But when we reach it, the satisfaction fades and we start chasing the next one, again and again. The Buddha called this cycle samsara, the endless wandering through craving and dissatisfaction. At the root of this wandering is a misunderstanding, the belief that happiness comes from acquiring more money, more recognition, more control. But the more we grasp, the more we suffer. Here's why. When we seek happiness externally, we make our peace dependent on things we cannot control. Markets crash, relationships end, bodies age. The world changes, and every time we lose what we depended on, we fall back into suffering. But more than that, external success often masks internal wounds. We fill our lives with noise, not to celebrate but to avoid silence. Because in silence, the real questions rise. Who am I without my titles? What is my life about? What am I truly afraid of? These are the questions that fame, fortune, and comfort cannot answer. Let me share the story of Elena, a model who rose to fame in her early 20s. She graced magazine covers, walked international runways, and was adored by millions. But off camera, she battled depression. She felt like a product, beautiful but empty. One night, after a show in Milan, she sat alone in her hotel room and cried uncontrollably. She didn't know why. Eventually, she turned to meditation, not as a trend, but as survival. She attended a retreat, unplugged from social media, and began to listen to her breath, her body, her heart. For the first time, she realized that she had been performing all her life, not just for cameras, but for approval. Her happiness had always depended on how others saw her, and she had never really seen herself. This is the silent epidemic of our time, disconnection. Disconnection from our true self, from presence, from meaning. The Buddha taught that lasting happiness comes not from getting more, but from letting go. Letting go of craving. Letting go of the illusion that we are not enough. Letting go of the belief that peace lies somewhere else, sometime later. In Buddhist psychology, the mind is compared to a pond. When filled with greed, anger, and ignorance, it is muddy. No matter how much beauty surrounds it, the water cannot reflect light. But when we purify the mind through mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom, the water clears, and in that clarity, we see the truth. That truth is simple but radical. Everything you are searching for is already within you. You do not need to become someone else. You need to remember who you are beneath the layers of conditioning and fear. Consider another story. Raj, a tech entrepreneur, sold his company for millions. He bought a mansion, dated celebrities, and traveled the world. But after a few years, he felt numb. Parties felt empty. Success felt meaningless. Then he attended a Dharma talk on impermanence. The teacher said, "Everything you hold will one day slip from your hands. The only treasure you can keep is the state of your own heart." Those words hit him like lightning. He began to study the Dharma, not as philosophy, but as medicine. He simplified his life. He spent hours in silence. He began to serve others, not to gain praise, but to feel connection. And slowly, joy returned. Not the thrill of acquisition, but the joy of being alive, of breathing with presence, of living with purpose. This is the joy the Buddha pointed to. A joy that doesn't depend on circumstances. A joy that arises when we stop running. So how do we begin this journey? Start small. Pause before chasing the next thing. Ask yourself, what do I want this? What am I trying to fill? Spend time in silence, journal, meditate. Watch your mind. Notice its patterns. Notice how it grasps and clings. And then, practice letting go. Let go of one attachment, one fear, one story. Replace it with presence, with breath, with compassion. And most importantly, serve. When we give not out of obligation, but from the heart, we reconnect with others, and in that connection, the illusion of emptiness dissolves. Because we are not empty. We are full of potential, of love, of awareness, but we have to look inward to see it. Thank you for watching this video. If today's topic resonated with you, if you felt that emptiness even while surrounded by abundance, know that you are not alone and you are not broken. You are awakening. Please share your experiences in the comments. How have you navigated inner dissatisfaction? What practices have helped you reconnect? Like this video if it offered you insight. Subscribe to our channel for more teachings that help bridge the gap between external success and inner fulfillment. Until next time, may you stop chasing shadows and begin to walk the path that leads you home into the fullness of your own being.